Welcome to a podcast for nerds. It's the show where these two dudes here, we met as kids. Now we're going to discuss our journey with all things nerdy, as well as life in our 30s. Cody, I need you to shut up right now.
Okay.
We got something important we got to talk about. A couple things real quick.
Okay.
The ocean is trying to kill us, I think.
Hasn't it always been?
No, I think right now Poseidon is unleashing his fury. Neptune has unleashed his wrath upon us. The whales are attacking boats. The subs are sinking. What's happening?
Well, don't subs always sink?
No.
Well,
not that way.
They do.
Not that way. The subs are being destroyed.
What's happening with the whales? I heard a little bit about it, but I don't really know.
So yeah, it's I think near Spain. There's one specific pod that I'm aware of, that just keeps attacking boats.
They gotta have a reason.
Well, they don't fully. They think, and they're not hurting people. They're literally just neutralizing the boat. But that means ramming it and puncturing holes into the boat and destroying the rudder, which is a very, very hard thing to fix on boats, as well as propellers. And on top of that, they're just, again, punching holes into these boats, and these boats are sinking with people still on them. Again, they're not hurting the people.
So people are dying indirectly.
I don't think anybody's died from it yet. People have gotten hurt, but I don't think anybody's died yet from it. Because, again, there's still, that I'm aware of, not a single recorded attack of an orca in the wild ever hurting a person.
I don't know.
But
that sounds crazy.
But they don't fully know. Their best guess is that at some point, whoever, because it's multiple orcas doing it. It started with one. Now it's multiple.
One rogue orca got everyone else on board.
Because everything's learned behavior with orcas. They're almost as smart as people. If not smarter. And they, I learned a lot about orcas. I like orcas. I like animals.
Welcome to the orca episode.
Hey, but they think that one specific orca probably had a really traumatic incident with one of these sailboats and then just said, screw every sailboat from the rest of it for the rest of eternity.
Hey, man, it's like crows. I learned recently about crows, how they teach each other. Like, if you hurt one crow, they'll teach all their friends that human's the douche. And even their, like, ancestors later will still know that you suck.
Oh, yeah. There was a story where a guy, he found a baby crow and tried to help it, but it died.
Oh.
And the crows didn't see him trying to help a baby crow. All they saw was him carrying a dead baby crow. And they were like, this man. And crows have black Air Force energy, and that's that means they're like on site.
I love crows, actually. I think crows are such cool, impressive birds.
Do you know how to get an army of crows at your disposal?
I do not.
So, you start. I'm going to do it. I haven't done it yet. You got to get peanuts, shelled peanuts.
You're going to actually do this?
I'm going to do this because I want a crow army. Because what happens is crows are grateful, right? I'm sure you learned that. Like, they're grateful creatures.
Yeah.
As well as spiteful, but they'll be grateful if you're nice to them.
They're smart. Yeah.
So, if you put like shelled peanuts, and you got to sprinkle them with cayenne pepper, because crows can't taste spicy, but squirrels can.
Oh.
So that's to keep the squirrels away. So sprinkle your shelled peanuts with cayenne pepper, and then crows will come by, and little by little, do just a little bit at first, not a ton. And then eventually that crow might bring you something shiny. You might find some random shiny piece of trash or something. And when that happens, that means they're thanking you. Like, here, I brought you something.
I've heard of this.
I brought you something. It was shiny. When they do that, you reward them more peanuts. And then when they're like, oh, he liked that. He liked that. So they'll start bringing you more stuff. And this keeps going, and then you incentivize them with different nuts, different like raisins, stuff like that. And eventually, if you do it right, a crow might bring you some money.
Like a quarter?
No. They'll just find like a dollar bill and be like, here. And if you do that, you really reward them. And then they're like, oh, he really liked this green piece of paper. And you can effectively train crows to steal money from people for you.
I don't know if you should have admitted you're going to do this.
I'm not doing that, but you can do it.
Okay.
I'm not doing that. I just want the shiny stuff.
If you get crows under your disposal, if you have an army of crows, I'm going to have to start calling you Itachi. because
Itachi.
yeah. Did you get far enough in Naruto to see?
Not yet.
Yeah, everything he does is with crows
Oh.
or ravens. I think they're crows though. But
Crows
ravens and crows are so similar.
More or less the same thing.
Yeah, just a
I think
size
ravens
difference.
are bigger.
Yeah, they have ravens all over in Australia.
Dude, I think I saw some ravens at work the other day. They were huge.
I think there's some here nowadays. I didn't see them here when I was a kid, but I think it was about a month ago. We saw one out on the tracks near my house.
I mean, they were huge. I was like, that is a big crow. I was like, there's no way that's a crow. I mean, it was at least
huge,
it was at least
man.
this big. Crows
Ravens are big.
about that big. Mm-hmm. And I want one. I want to get a raven.
They're so cool.
I'm gonna name it Rodan.
You can teach them to talk too.
I know,
just like parrots.
Exactly.
It's so cool, man.
So yeah, I'm gonna get an army of crows, and so that means nobody screw with me. You mess with me, you mess with the crows, and you don't want to mess with that murder.
I see what you did there. Also about the submarine sinking. That has been such a fascinating story. I know it's like all over now, so by the time this comes out, maybe nobody is interested in hearing about it anymore. But it was so fascinating, and I think my favorite. I hate to say favorite part because it's not a drama. People lost their lives, but the thing that was most interesting to me was to hear. What's his name? James Cameron? Is that his name?
Yeah, James Cameron.
Avatar?
Yeah.
Titanic? Okay. For some reason, my brain's blanking. I'm like, that's his name, right?
His name is James Cameron, the bravest pioneer.
Well, honestly, though, when he put out his videos talking about everything, have you watched his
I haven't watched
interviews?
his videos, but I've read some little snippets.
It is very, very fascinating. He is legitimately the expert on all of this.
He knows his stuff. It's just it's easy to poke fun at him because he's a Hollywood director.
I feel like I get that, and I always heard people do that. But after this incident and really hearing him talk about it passionately, it's like
he knows.
I feel like no, dude, this guy is an explorer, and he directs movies maybe as like the side job.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
Yeah,
you've seen the South Park episode about him, right?
Oh, I've seen every episode, but I don't remember necessarily.
That's the one. That's what I was singing because he's like he goes down to the ocean and because the joke is. Because he keeps saying, I'm going to raise the bar, going to raise the bar. Well, the bar has sunken to the bottom of the ocean.
I have seen it,
and he's got to go to the bottom of the ocean to raise the bar.
Dude, South Park is a national treasure, man. God, I love South Park.
It's so good. And he's like, all right, lights on, camera on, music on. And his name is James Cameron, the bravest pioneer.
Are you caught up on South Park? Do you
but we did just get Paramount Plus, so I'd probably be able to catch up on the newer stuff.
The new seasons are so short. They're like 6 episodes each. It's so easy to catch up.
I'm annoyed with the new seasons of South Park because they seem, I don't know. I miss when everything was episodic. And now they got this whole Integrity Farms thing going.
I mean, everything is still episodic, but there's just a connecting through line in the back.
And I feel like with COVID going on, a lot of things in the show got real heavy. And I know...
No, the show stopped during COVID. They just did 1 or 2 specials during COVID, I think.
Just the episodes that they were doing at that time, they seemed to... And with a lot of the political landscape at the time, too, that seemed to be just really heavy. And I didn't find it as funny.
I don't know, man. I caught up recently, the 2 newest seasons. I was only behind by 2. And God, dang, that show was hilarious.
I mean, I'll probably need to rewatch it. I think it was just... It wasn't the direction I was expecting it to go. Because they've been the last like 8-9 seasons having like connected seasons.
Yeah, it's been doing that for quite a while.
And that's fine. But it just felt to me like they just were too deep and invested. The whole thing, honestly, the Integrity Farms thing, it overstayed its welcome for me. I'm sure it's not going to go away.
I mean, I can see that because, if you're talking during COVID... Because the COVID specials are all about Integrity Farms.
Yeah, and that was it completely overstayed its welcome in my eyes.
I think it's funny. But I think in the newer seasons, it's less focus on Integrity Farms. At least the newest season.
Okay. I just want it to go back to being about the kids.
Yeah, there's more stuff happening with Cartman in the new season. But I do love Randy, man. I mean,
Randy's
see why
the best character.
Yeah,
I agree. I think the Integrity Farm shtick, it just, for me, it overstayed. It's overstayed its welcome.
I see. I get it. I feel you. I was shocked to see Integrity Farms again when I started watching. I'm like, oh yeah, Integrity Farms is a thing. I totally forgot they did this.
The first time I saw it, I was like, Integrity Farms. I was like, yeah, it's funny. And then by like the 19th episode of it, I'm like, Okay, yeah, here we are.
I mean, I just saw it as it wasn't a joke anymore. It just was part of the story at this point. Yeah.
How many times can I hear him say, "Where's your integrity?" It's funny and
for me every time, man.
it's funny at first, but to me, I'm like, God, you guys are some of the smartest comedians on the planet. And
But it's not the only joke they do.
It's just the one that sticks out.
Yeah.
Like I said, I need to catch up. I was also watching them during work,
Oh.
and I was catching everything, but I wasn't able to like.
Did I tell you last time that I was playing Stick of Truth? Or did that happen since the last time we spoke?
I don't think so. You're replaying it?
I never played it.
Oh, you never did?
It was my first time.
It's fun. I never
Yeah.
finished it. I have it on my Switch.
I think I'm nearly finished because they say it's about 10 hours long, and I think I'm 6 or 7 in, but then I stopped to do something else.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it is hilarious. Such a fantastic game. Have you played the second one?
Not yet. I never finished Stick of Truth. I want to finish that first.
Right. I own both, so.
Okay. Steer back towards the submarine thing real quick, and then we can move on. We'll catch up a bit, and then we're going to talk about Into the Spider-Verse.
Yeah. Well, no, Across the Spider-Verse.
Across the Spider-Verse. We're going to talk about that, so stick around. I got a burp. I'm drinking a carby drink. It's coming. It'll come at some point. I don't know when. You'll hear it. So, the submarine, right? Everybody chill out. Let's chill out, right?
What do you mean?
People died. Like 5 people just died.
But it was fascinating.
It was fast. No. When I mean with the memes. I mean.
Okay. You got to remember, I'm
yeah.
not so much on social media. I don't know. People are memeing it,
making fun because it was more about the guy in charge. Do you know anything about the guy in charge?
Yeah.
Okay,
I know a lot about him.
And the company. Memeing the company and making fun of the company, do it. They're the ones that screwed up.
Yeah, definitely.
And I get it. These people were billionaires, and billionaires are easy to pick on. Like, as common folk, it's easy to just be like, oh, another billionaire died. But nobody needed to die. People died. Nobody needed to die. We don't know what these billionaires were doing, but for all we know, they were decently good people. Especially that 14-year-old kid who didn't want to get on the ride.
He's 19.
19? Oh, I thought he was 14.
19.
Well, still, kid. 19-year-old kid.
Well, that's technically an adult.
I know.
But yeah.
19-year-old youth.
Yeah, the youth.
I mean, he didn't need to die.
Yeah, his story is the one that really made me sad. Like, he only did it for Father's Day.
I heard he really didn't want to get on.
He was terrified from what they said. Like, he did not want to do it. He was just trying to be a supportive son. God, it's so sad.
I mean,
I don't care how much money you have, man. They're still humans.
Mm-hmm.
Like, people are so sick to people disconnect so much from rich people. Mm-hmm. It's weird.
And I get that because rich people disconnect from us.
But at the end of the day, we're all still people.
Yeah.
Like,
until it comes out that they were terrible people and hurting children and stuff like that, just chill out. People died, everybody. Okay?
Yeah, the only one that I'm like, F you, is the guy in charge.
Well, yeah, I still don't think he deserved to die, but I mean...
Well, okay, nobody deserves to die, but he does make me very angry because he knew very clearly that this would probably fail eventually, and he still chose to take people on it who did not know any better. That's evil.
Yeah, that's horrible.
Pure evil.
That's bad. Just for a buck. No, again, so if you want to meme the company and make fun of the company, go right for it. Fair game, in my opinion.
What are people memeing about the people?
They're just, people are more or less saying, oh, you shouldn't feel bad because another billionaire died. Who cares? They're just a billionaire. Another one of the 1%. Like, dude. Be a human. Be a person. It's one thing to disconnect, but don't sit there and just because they're a billionaire you didn't know. And I'm not saying I support the 1% either. I think there's a huge disconnect between us, and I'm not trying to get political, but just be nice, for God's sakes.
I think life is complicated. I think, when you make that much money, people start to forget that they're still humans. Like, they still have humanity.
And it's easy to be jealous.
I think that's what it is. There's so much jealousy, and not just jealousy, but it's resentment because they have this small amount of people has so much wealth, and so many people are struggling. And I understand why that makes you angry because it makes me angry.
Yeah, no, I'm
But
believe me.
they're still people, and they were still fooled into they could have done more research on it, but still, it had done successful dives, and they're not people who know everything about this like James Cameron does, because he said he knew this was gonna end badly. But they're not James Cameron. They can't look at the thing and know.
And I've heard people talk like, what does James Cameron know? He's just a movie director. And it's like,
He knows a lot.
And they're like, well, how come he gets to go down there? I'm like, his sub was tethered to a ship, prepared to go down that far, had all kinds of buttons and bobs and whistles and lights and cameras and tracking.
And the material it was made out of was correct. And he only went alone. I think that's the big thing. He didn't bring any passengers who didn't know.
He took all the risk himself.
Yeah.
If I get hurt, that's my doing. I know what I'm up to. I'm not going to bring anybody down. That's 4,000. You know how much pressure? People, when they say water pressure, I don't think people understand.
Yeah.
Here's a way to think about it. If you had a mountain on top of you,
yeah,
you would die. Okay, think about this. If you had a giant, say, milk jug or water jug, and it was the size of the Empire State Building, and you just sat it on top of you, you would die because you would be burst.
But people don't think about it because they think, the water wraps around me. But it's not really how it works.
It's literally water is pushing down on you. You're underneath something.
And honestly, after listening to James Cameron's interviews, I was convinced this man is a genius.
I mean, he's a smart dude. I think he's really pretentious, but he's very smart.
From the things he said, I felt like you earned the right to be at least somewhat pretentious.
Pretentious about his movies.
Oh, okay. Well, when it came to just talking about this and this passion he had for this and everything he knew, I'm like, you're the expert.
No, he knows what he's doing. He knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
Like don't naysay James Cameron. He's a movie guy, but yeah, people do. It's like saying, don't trust Tom Cruise in that jet. What do you think he does outside of movies? He flies planes.
I actually didn't know that.
Yeah, that's what he does. I watched a whole thing that he did before the new Top Gun. He owns several planes. It's just what he does.
Really?
Yeah, Tom Cruise is, like, politics and religion aside, Tom Cruise is an actual badass.
I mean, I think a problem with, like, famous people is that it's kind of like with billionaires. People forget they're humans. Like, actors and directors don't only act and direct. Mm-hmm. They still have hobbies that they enjoy.
I mean, several actors and directors. I mean, I'm trying to think. I mean, you know how many actors do music on the side but don't talk about it?
Yeah.
But just because I just wanted to make some music and I put it out. And
for sure.
Or in a band, but like don't talk about it.
I didn't know anything about Johnny Depp being in a band until the whole trial and everything happened. I'm like, oh,
yeah,
really?
I don't think they like put anything out. I think they just go perform.
I really don't know, but I was just surprised that because he really loves it. Like in the trial, how much he talked about the music and all of that. It's like, wow.
That's what he first moved out to California for, was to do music.
That's what I heard him say in the trial. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Anyway, we can move on from the...
So yeah, beam nice. Watch out for the orcas. Don't trust billionaire submarine companies.
Yeah. Well, I guess the real advice would be like do lots of research when putting your life on the line in something like that. Like
take this away. I think I've had enough energy.
Okay.
Just put it on your desk or something.
I can't reach that.
Oh, you can't.
But my desk is locked. Or my chair is locked in. Okay, that's probably gonna be there next week.
No, just remind me.
All right. So what are we talking about next, bro?
All right.
You're in charge today.
So today I want to talk about. Well, there's two things specifically we got to talk about. One of them we're going to talk about next week, I think.
I have a lot of notes, but I can talk about some of my notes later. Well, are we catching up first? Or
yeah. Let's catch up. I forgot. So, yeah, today we're going to catch up and just little life things, like what you've been up to.
Let me see. I'm going to run through a few things quick.
All
just to say that something I did. And I wrote down Stick of Truth, so we clearly hadn't talked about that. I watched a few anime. Finally finished Bleach, the new season. It was good. Finally finished Chainsaw Man's new season. All these things that we were talking about forever ago. I know you haven't watched Chainsaw Man, so I won't bore you about it, but it was obviously good.
Good.
Bleach's season, it's about to, the next season's about to start already. But what I'll say about Bleach was I thought the first half was crazy. The second half was fine. We slowed it down. It has to happen at some point. We got to have all that part, but I know it's going to pick back up, of course. And we had some nice cliffhanger at the end.
I know what's coming.
I was a little bit annoyed with the second half because, okay, I'm going to make people angry. I might even make you angry right now.
It meanders a bit.
It's not just that. It felt like, so I'm a big One Piece fan, and I hate to do this. I hate to compare two of the big three. I don't like when people do this, but I'm going to do it. One Piece feels like everything was planned out, at least since Skypiea. But the stuff they did in the second half of this, I'm like, this did not really feel planned to me, bro. I feel like before you started this arc, you planned it. I don't think he just did it right there in that chapter. He planned it at some point. But it was like, hey, this stuff feels like you're just put it in here to, I don't know.
It's not as well
connected.
Not planned out, like you're saying. Yeah,
Right.
It definitely. But that's partially not his fault. When he was writing that arc, his health was failing very, very heavily. Like he was in the hospital and all that. And on top of that, he was also still being pressured to keep putting out things because the manga industry is terrible.
I mean, I get it. Like, I'm not trying to blame him, and I'm not saying it really takes away, but I think just because I have had so much experience with One Piece and seeing this other long story that was really well thought out, it is impossible for me not to compare a little bit. But I try to not let that get to me.
Okay.
But I did enjoy it, though, overall. Good. It was pretty fun. And I thought it was kind of annoying that we saw his mom. I don't like this trend of we have to see every main character's mom at some point. Like it happened with Naruto. Now it happened with Ichigo. And I think the reason it annoys me because the One Piece community is so crazy about when are we going to see Luffy's mom? Who's Luffy's mom? It's like, oh my God. I don't want to see Luffy's mom. I couldn't care less about Luffy's mom.
But are you going to be mad if they show her? Why?
No, I'm not going to be mad. I think the reason I'm sounding like salty or kind of angry about it is because, I mean, you're not annoying about it. I didn't even know it was something you cared about, but just like the online community around One Piece will not shut up about Luffy's mom. And I'm like, there's so many big mysteries and amazing things happening in this story. Why do we care so much about Luffy's mom?
Who did Dragon bang?
We don't even, I mean, who cares? I guess if it's Crocodile, you know that theory, right? You don't?
That Crocodile is
Luffy's mom. You don't know this theory? Seriously?
What?
This is a real theory.
What?
It's not a joke.
No.
It's because okay, hear me out. I still don't believe it. I really don't believe it, but it's a legit theory.
So is Crocodile supposed to be trans then?
No. Well, I mean, I don't know how you would put it, but it's because of Eva. So he's been friends with Eva for a very long time. And in Marineford, the only reason Crocodile originally agreed to help them was because Eva said, I'll tell your secret. And we never heard what that secret was. And then there's some other weird connection that people have made. I still think it's very, like, people are really pushing it.
I don't know. See,
it doesn't look anything like Luffy.
Yeah.
I'll say that.
I mean, I would expect Luffy's mom would probably look a lot more like Luffy than Dragon does.
Yeah, but we don't know a lot about Crocodile's past, to be fair. Maybe he was a woman for many, many years, but I really doubt it.
I kind of feel like, the thing about Crocodile is I really don't care that much about his backstory.
I don't care about his backstory. Yeah,
I don't care.
I love him as a character.
As a character, I'm like, yeah, he's really cool.
Especially the new stuff in the manga that's happening.
I think, no, I'm caught up because I went to that here.
Are you all the way caught up? Because Oda's on a break now because he's getting surgery.
Yeah, I saw that. I went to download the new chapter last week and I was like, all right, new chapter of One Piece. And then it was like, new chapter in 27 days. I was like, what?
Yeah.
And I looked it up. I was like, what's going on? And I said, oh, great. He's getting eye surgery.
Yeah.
Wow. Way to age, Oda.
But, I mean, God. I was saying he picked the worst place to stop, but I feel like every chapter nowadays is the worst place to stop.
Well, he's in the middle of explaining what happened at a certain point from 5 years ago.
Bro, everything with I don't want to spoil, but everything with Vivi and the past and this is what I'm talking about. Where I'm like, Oda, you are a god at storytelling, bro.
See,
like,
I was watching something. Someone was talking about One Piece lately, and they're like, One Piece is great, but sometimes the world building is so overbloated that you don't care about, or basically saying that it spends too much time world building.
That's what's so amazing about it.
Okay, so does Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, like, so I guess I get it in like a world. We live in a world where world building is something that's not done to this level very often.
It needs to be, though.
But it's hard to.
I get it, but it should be.
It's not even that it's hard to. It's that it takes a long time, and it's hard to write a story that people are gonna be connected with long enough for you to get that opportunity. I understand why they want to just, I won't do so much world building, or maybe I will in the background, but I won't present it to everyone, and I'll just tell my story in this world, because you got a way better opportunity to find an audience with that. But yeah, if you don't like all the world building in One Piece, there's tons of other media out there. But the point of One Piece at this point is this crazy world building.
Exactly. Yeah, you want to see the main characters all hit their goals, and that's probably your ultimate thing. But at the same time, you could spend 90 episodes, never see the Straw Hat Crew, and just whirl and just do stuff. I could spend 90 episodes of the Reverie. I could have taken 100 episodes of that.
Has it been like the last 5 or 6 chapters? We haven't even seen a Straw Hat, right?
It's been a minute, yeah.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Like they've all been focusing on explaining other things.
Yeah, we don't need to spoil everything,
Right.
but yeah, it's just so interesting where One Piece has come, because there was a point where they tried, and before time skip, they tried to do some of the cover stories as like animate them, and they would not. People didn't watch them. People hated it. They just wanted to see the Straw Hats. It's crazy how far it's come that now it's like, I'm hyped when we step away from the Straw Hats for a while and see everything else that's happening.
And it's not to mean like, because there are several anime like, say, Dragon Ball, or even maybe Fairy Tail or Bleach, where if it cuts away from the main character, I'm like, oh my god.
Yeah, it gets annoying.
One Piece, if it cuts away from the main characters, it's usually like, ooh, what are we gonna learn?
Yeah, Oda only does that when he's about to info dump and like expand the lore.
As soon as it cuts away, you're like, oh yes. Like when you cut away to the Odin backstory.
And the thing, for some reason, when they cut away from the Straw Hats, I feel like the animation always bumps up too. I don't know what, like, we're in the anime, not the manga, obviously, but like, because there's always something crazy cool happening. So I feel like they want to put a bunch of money, like, sorry, light spoilers on stuff from a couple years ago, but when the government went, I won't say why, but when the government went to confront the 7 warlords of the sea, that episode, did you watch that episode?
Not yet.
Oh, you've got to watch that episode.
Was that when Buggy did his thing?
No, it's when, like, okay, more spoilers on that section if you haven't read or watched that section. It's when the government decides the warlords of the sea are no longer needed, and that they're all criminals now.
Okay, yeah, so I haven't watched, I've read it, but I haven't watched it.
Dude, that episode's way better than the manga. They put like so much money into that episode. Okay. It's crazy how good it looks.
Okay.
Dang, I can't believe you haven't seen that. Yeah, but stuff like that. They put all this money into it.
Well, I plowed through the manga.
Yeah.
I didn't, and I'm only just now starting to watch new episodes of One Piece. Dude.
All right.
The Zoro versus King fight.
I know. And Law and Kid versus Big Mom.
I haven't watched that yet. I'm like 2 episodes behind.
I haven't watched it yet, but I just saw it on Instagram. Oh my, every episode, the animation's better. It makes me feel like what's coming next month is going to be
What's the date on that? What date is that?
People keep putting out dates, but it changes. Like, people don't really know.
It is July, though, right?
People are saying July now. I think late July is what people are saying.
Man.
It's coming. I haven't caught up yet. I'm gonna catch up on the actual anime.
It'll be like
right
July
before.
30th, the actual last day, which is a Sunday.
Maybe. I'm gonna catch up right before, because I do, with all this crazy animation that's coming out recently, I do want to see it all.
We were talking about possibly doing something at Nate's and maybe having like a little view party for the big thing.
Maybe. I don't know. I gotta
Quit being an introvert.
No, it's not that. It's like, this is such a big thing. Like, I kind of want to just experience it and be all in it instead of thinking about the group as well and experience. I don't know how. It's hard
I think
to
you're
explain.
overthinking it. Just go and be with the friends and do what you. It's like watching a football game with a group of people. Not that we do that, but you know what I mean.
I'll think about it.
Just consider it. It'd be fun.
Well, we got to figure
memory.
out what day it's coming out anyway.
It'd be
We'll know later next month.
And then we can coordinate.
Yeah,
But
let's see.
If you want Cody and all of us to have a view party, you don't get to see it. Let us know in the comments. Tell Cody to quit being an introvert. I'm just messing with him.
It's not about the
I know.
introversion.
That used to be your excuse all the time, though. Excuse.
We need to move on because there's a lot of stuff to cover. I got some of the stuff I'll save for next time. But
Yeah.
If there's anything else I want to mention, I did want to talk about.
I got a new beanie.
I guess. Oh yeah, I did notice that. It looks cool.
Thank you.
I want to mention. I just started watching this show yesterday. I'm just gonna mention it quickly. There's
Alright.
nothing, just a lot to say. But do you know the show Nathan For You?
It sounds familiar.
I think his name's Nathan Fielder. I think is the guy's
What
name.
does he do? What is it?
I don't know if you'd like it or not. It's on Max.
HBO.
I've seen clips of it on Instagram and YouTube forever. It's hilarious. It's the show. Have you
Is
seen
this
the
a jury
clip?
duty show?
No,
No.
it's the show. Have you seen the clip where the guy's like, I can't remember what he says, but basically it comes down to like, I'm in front of this group of children, and if this thing doesn't happen in this amount of time, it's going to pull down my pants, exposing me to these children, and there's an officer here to immediately arrest me and make me a sex offender for the rest of my life. You haven't seen that clip?
No.
Okay. It must have been Nate who was telling me he saw it as well. But it's this show. It's a comedy where this dude, he's really famous in Canada, I guess, and he goes to different businesses to try to help them, but he doesn't really help them. Like on the very first episode, he goes to a yogurt shop and they're trying to find a way to get more business. And he says, you need some crazy publicity stunt. So we're going to make a new flavor of yogurt, poo flavor. and then they actually go through with it. And it's, I don't know if you'd like it because it's cringe comedy. It's really, I think it's very funny, but there are moments where I'm like, this is hard to watch. Because like he tries to convince this old woman as well, who he helps out in her restaurant. And he actually gets her more business. And he tries to convince her to put him in her will. And she actually talks to her daughter and is like, she said, you don't even know this guy. I don't think I thought it was hilarious at first. And then I started Googling about it. And it said that, of course, he's scripted. He knows what he's going to do. But the actual business owners aren't.
So it sounds like sort of when on Jackass, when Johnny Knoxville would dress up as the old man and go around and just start, trying to pick fights with teenagers.
Kind of, except from what I've heard, because I had to read more about it, it became hard to watch to the point I had to know more. They say that all the reactions, all the business owners, it's legit. But afterwards, he's an extremely nice guy.
That's how they usually do it.
Yeah, he tells them all, like, I'm so sorry for messing with you, and all this is weird. And, like, he makes sure they have their consent that it's all okay to film. A
lot of those things do. Like, you remember when Kasim G would interview adult film stars, and he'd, like, troll them the whole time? And
classic YouTube, man.
He would, in his interview with Rhett and Link, he explained that as soon as that camera shut off, he would literally... Thank you so much for doing that. That was, okay, that was a whole bit. I just had to make you think it was real.
Yeah.
And he'd stick with it, dude.
Bro, he has this bit as well, at least in one of the episodes, where he'd go into big, legitimate companies to apply for a job, and they would agree to let him film. He'd say it's for some other reason. And then he'd have a tiny earpiece in, and he'd let like a 7-year-old tell him exactly what he has to say, and he has to try to get the job just based off pure confidence.
That's funny.
It's hilarious. The show is hilarious. But
so the 7-year-old say something like, "Tell them you like Transformers," and he'll be like, "I really like Transformers."
Yeah, exactly.
I'm really passionate.
And at the end, he's like, "Do you think I got the job?" And they're like, he's like, "Did you not feel my confidence?" And they're like, "Yeah, you were pretty confident, but I don't know."
Now, typically with big companies like that, because Jackass did this as well, he said we would always contact the owner or the main manager, whoever was in charge, and let them know. Like there was one where he dressed as the old man and he goes into a scooter store and he turns on a scooter and drives it through the window. and it just destroys their whole front
no.
window. But now the people and workers, they don't know anything that's going on. They just what happened, but the owner and management likely do, and they let them know up front, hey, we're going to destroy your window, but we're going to replace it.
I see.
We're going to replace it, and it'll all be good, and this will probably be pretty good business for you.
I'm glad to hear that, because I never liked that show, because they would like do things that it was worse than Nathan For You, where he's just kind of like messing with people. But they would actually do things that I would be like, if nobody knew, and they didn't present it as if they were nice people afterwards. So when I was younger, it's like, these guys are just bad people.
Oh yeah, no, they were. You got to think about this when they were doing that. It's all a bunch of college frat boys at the beginning.
Right.
So that's what the attitude is. But let's move on. Continue with your notes.
The other things are all big, man. I'll say one other thing, and then we can move on to the big one here.
Are you all right? You look like you're shaking.
I was shaking it on purpose. I was like trying to figure out what I want to do.
Okay.
The other thing I wanted to mention really quick, because the other stuff's too big. We'll have to save it for the next time.
Okay.
Is Smosh.
I wanted to bring that up.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. This is a big deal.
Yeah, this is a really big deal.
You probably aren't aware, but this is a big deal for me and him in a way, too.
So who is Smosh?
So Smosh was one of the first, if not the first. At one point, they were the most subscribed channel.
For many years. Until Fred came along.
Then they were like number 2 or 3.
Yeah.
But they got popular in like 2006 when YouTube first came on. And they had a video where it was just them lip singing the entire Pokemon theme.
That was the first big one, right?
And it was just them, just kids hanging out being silly. Mm-hmm. And then from there they created a whole company essentially called Smosh, and they would do skit videos and stuff like that. Well, then I forget what platform they offered, hey, we will buy Smosh, and
it's Defy Media.
Defy Media. Mm-hmm. We'll buy Smosh for you, and that way your budget will fund everything, and your budget and videos will go way up, and it did.
But what happened? Have you heard the whole story?
I know what happened was Defy went defunct or something.
Well, but they were so dumb. They made a huge mistake. They sold it for stock, not for money, for stock in this company that they said the stock never even existed. They never saw a dime come back from that. But yeah,
and then I think Defy went under, didn't they? And then
not yet. So the story is Anthony. So the two people who made it, Ian and Anthony. Anthony left.
But that was like 2017. Yeah,
he left a year before Defy went defunct.
Okay.
Yeah, and then he started his own show. You might know Anthony Padilla.
He's got a podcast.
He's so famous now on his own, and I love his show. I don't know if you ever watch it.
Ian does a lot too.
Yeah, no, for sure. But I mean, Anthony started his own brand that's not Smosh.
Ian never left Smosh. Anthony went and started his own thing, which he'll still have outside of Smosh.
Yeah. Have you ever watched I Spend a Day With? Because I really love that show.
I've watched clips.
Yeah, there's a lot of clips. I really love it, though.
I see a lot of the ones. The one I see the most is clips from Markiplier, and every time I see clips with Markiplier from anything, he just sounds more and more depressed about things.
Yeah. Like I don't know.
And more serious. Like
he's getting older.
I know, but he's turning into like Hal Miyazaki. Like I feel like in like 10 years he's going to be like, the light of the world is gone and I don't like anything anymore.
It's sad. But I don't know. Let's see what happens. But I mean, I really love his show. I watched it back before he was interviewing like YouTubers. Because at first he was just, and he still does, but like, I spend a day with death row people. I spend a day with burn victims or cult, like people who are in a cult. Like, it's pretty interesting to hear about. But anyway, finally, years later, Good Mythical Morning. Yeah, Rhett and Link
bought Smosh once Defy went under.
Yeah, last minute from everything I've heard.
Which is great. If anybody's going to buy Smosh, I'm glad it was Rhett and Link.
I wanted to talk a little bit about Rhett and Link too in this segment, in a minute.
Are they doing shady things?
No. But anyway, just because we got to get to the point, a lot of stuff happened. I became a Smosh fan again about 2 years ago. Like, I was a Smosh fan forever. Years ago, I stopped for a long time, like a lot of people did. And then I became a huge Smosh fan again when I was in the Philippines. I've watched, like, everything on all their channels, other than some stuff on the gaming channel. I don't really care.
The only thing I watch anymore is the Try Not to Laugh stuff.
You do watch them?
I'm not caught up.
Some of them?
But I've watched a lot of them.
You should watch the new one, because Anthony's in it. It's so good, but...
Shane is the funniest one.
Oh, of course. But people have already been saying in the comments, they're like, Notice how since Anthony came back, Shane's chilled out a little bit and everybody's like, yeah, he doesn't have to carry the whole company on his shoulders anymore.
That makes sense. I mean, he was the funny guy. Not that Ian wasn't funny.
A lot of the new cast I think is really funny. I don't know how much you know of them, but like Amanda, Angela, and Chance, they're like the newest ones. They are hilarious.
Who is the blonde lady? Who are the two ladies?
Oh,
the blonde
if there's only
lady...
two ladies, then you're thinking a little bit older. You're definitely not caught up. Because it was Courtney, she's the blonde one, and Olivia is the Asian
Okay,
one.
I didn't want to say that, but yes.
Well, she's Asian.
I don't... Yeah, but some people are like, oh, you knew.
I don't think Asian's an insult.
I know, but some people are like, oh, that's the only thing you know about her.
Well, it's the easiest way to describe her quickly. I mean...
But anyway, yeah, neither of them were funny.
I totally disagree. I agree that they're not as funny as Shane, that's for sure.
Courtney, she made me laugh. Olivia made me laugh literally 0 times.
Olivia makes me laugh all the time, but it's because her humor is just... It's very different. I completely understand not liking Olivia 100%.
I mean, to me, she would just come out and be like, hey, yeah, I'm here.
She doesn't do as much.
Please. And then they'd be like...
Yeah. I mean, I think she had the most bits that missed, for sure. But every now and then she'd have one where I would die.
I didn't dislike her. She just never made me laugh.
Yeah. But the new cast, there's now Angela and Amanda are the two. I think they're the only two new women. I might be forgetting one. They are, oh my God, they're so funny.
And no, that's not me saying women can't be funny.
Oh, they definitely can be.
Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely.
They just, those two particularly didn't make me laugh.
But anyway, I got back into Smosh. I really loved it. And then suddenly, they just recently announced, this is why we're talking about it, Anthony and Ian are back together. And I guess they've been friends again for about a year. And they bought Smosh back from Good Mythical Morning.
I didn't know they stopped being friends.
Yeah, they talked about it. They did I Spent a Day With, Ian did, on Anthony's channel. And I guess they had stopped being friends before Anthony even left. Like, because everything became about work. Their friendship became all about work. And they just drifted apart naturally because of that. And then there was some resentment and things that happened. And Anthony didn't want to be on anything Smosh because he wanted to really show that, like, I don't need to be on Smosh. I can make my own brand, which is understandable. But at the same time, Ian was, like, bitter about that. So there was... Yeah, it's understandable on all sides.
I mean, it's similar to, like, the stuff you and I did. I was bitter for a little while over how the way things ended.
But we were still friends.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I'm saying, similar. We never stopped being friends, but I was bitter for a minute. Yeah. I don't know if I ever told you that, but yeah, I was bitter.
No, I didn't know that.
I thought I did. I'm sorry. Yeah, I was just a little bitter. Just how things ended. We've discussed that, though.
Right. I mean, we've discussed, talking about
everything's
how
fine now. I'm not bitter at all now.
Is it?
There was a time.
Is it fine?
No,
I'm just playing. But yeah, they bought Smosh back, and so now they're gonna do, which is what I think is interesting. They're planning to do old school Smosh style sketches again, which I don't know if it works on YouTube now, but I'm very excited to see.
If they go back, the first thing they need to do is bring back If Movies Were Real.
I disagree. I think the first video they should do is Food Battle 2023.
I forgot about Food Battle.
Yeah.
When was the last time they did a Food Battle?
I don't know. Oh
my God.
If the first video is Food Battle, the internet's going to lose it.
Bring back the Donut Champion. Yeah. The Donut always won, didn't it?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. But let's see. I mean, who knows? I'm keeping my expectations in check. But
hopefully
that would be
they'll do it at one. Oh, yeah. I forgot about
As a
Food
comeback,
Battle.
That would be amazing.
Okay, and then maybe do some movies real, if movies were real.
But I also wanted to mention Rhett and Link as well because they're putting out sketches again as well on their main channel. They have 3 now.
Interesting.
Have you watched them?
I was never real hot on. I liked their songs better than their sketch.
They do a song in every sketch.
Oh.
So there's a whole sketch and then in the middle there'll be a song somewhere.
Like, do you remember when every now and then they just put out a new song and it was like, yeah. And it was usually a pretty good bop, but
yeah. I'm on vacation.
And
funny. You should watch their newest one if you watch any. It just came out yesterday, I think. And Rhett like brushed his hair out and he looks horrifying.
Oh no.
And they let Link be the lead, which is also horrifying because Rhett's normally the lead in these sorts of things. But I just wanted to bring it up because I'm wondering if we're entering an era, a new era of sketch videos.
We can only hope.
I think it would be cool.
I mean,
Yeah.
there's several like I still watch Nostalgia Critic. Now he's not big like Rhett and Link, but he's big within that community,
Mm-hmm.
and he's stuck to doing sketches. His
Yeah.
sketches aren't funny.
Yeah, but he's not that popular now.
No, he still is. He's still got he's big in his circle.
Right. I mean, I feel like sketches fell off, except for like your core audience, like in his case. But I'm wondering if
I think that's just the landscape. Sketches usually take 3 to 5 minutes, and the TikToks
Red
are
and
one.
Link's new one was like, it was like 14 minutes.
Yeah, see, that's the way the landscape is nowadays.
Yeah. But anyway, I just wanted to mention it. I think it's exciting. And I really wanted to mention Smosh because I want to be very clear that this channel and all the other channels that I do only exist because of Smosh. Smosh was the first YouTube channel that I ever really watched. It was the first one that made me want to make videos. The very first channel that I ever had was SVR TV, and you were a part of as well later on, but still from the best videos, you were a part of it. And that was completely Smosh inspired, 100%.
To the point to where you ripped off Easy Step.
Yep.
But I'll contend, I think your jokes, the way you did it in Easy Step, was funnier. I'll contend that.
Thank you, bro. If only we were older with better editing and cameras, maybe it could have
Now,
taken them on.
If you don't know what the Easy Step is, Smosh did a thing when they used a cinder block
Yeah.
for their Easy Step.
Go back and watch it.
Yeah.
It's funny. Don't look up SVR TVs. It might be unlisted. I'm actually not sure.
I think probably because of the whole. It was literally just your own version of
Yeah.
Smosh's.
I mean, people used to do that back. It was like TikTok is now. Someone would make a video and everyone else would make it. And we were still learning. We weren't trying to be famous at that time. We were just having fun.
It would be. I would qualify that as almost parody.
Yeah. But I have to be very clear that I think Convention Reviews, the We Wonder channel, this channel, I think all of them, maybe it could have happened somehow, but there's a direct path back to Smosh.
So Smosh, and it's so the reason it inspired you back then is because all it was they probably had a better camera, but all it was just two guys, camera. They make up a script. They probably had a script, but they make up a video. They go out and they shoot it and they upload it.
Yeah, it was easy. It was fun, and it was new at the time. Probably Smosh would definitely not work today as a brand new channel. There's no way. But at the time, it was. I think you can easily look at almost all your favorite YouTubers, and I bet there's some line back to Smosh. I almost guarantee you.
They literally were the first big YouTubers.
Yeah. Anyway, we've got to move on. We got to talk about Spider-Man.
All right. Across the Spider-Verse.
Woo!
Worst Spider-Man movie.
Yeah, it was pretty bad, dude.
I didn't like any of it.
Yeah. The only part I liked was when it said. I was gonna say the ending, but it said to be continued. So I'm like, we're gonna get more of this? Are you kidding me?
Oof.
No, just kidding, guys. It was incredible. If you haven't seen Across the Spider-Verse, bow out now. The rest of this podcast will be about Across the Spider-Verse.
I'm gonna go into spoilers. This is all spoilers. I can't.
Yep, we're going 100% spoiler territory. So if you have not seen it, we'll see you in the next episode.
There's no way we can't. So apologies. Go watch the movie, then come back to the last 15, 20 minutes of this show, and you'll be caught up.
Yep. So what did you think?
My God. Excellent.
Yeah.
Absolutely excellent. I did not even know until it was over. I was like, what time is it? That was 2.5 hours?
Yeah. When I was watching it, I looked at my watch and I was like, because we get near the end. So let's be clear. Yeah, we've all seen it, right? Okay. So we all know it does not have an ending.
Cliffhanger. And I knew that was coming. You might not.
I did not. I did not know it was not going to end.
And I only knew that is because when they first advertised this movie, they advertised it as Across the Spider-Verse Part 1.
Ah, did they really?
Mm-hmm. And then like a month later, they backpedaled on that, and it was just Across the Spider-Verse.
And now the next one's Beyond the Spider-Verse.
So
what does that? Are we getting more live action? Do you think that's what that means? Beyond the Spider-Verse?
If we're beyond the Spider-Verse, we're getting more than just Spider-Man, dude.
What are we getting?
I'm not to put hype, but I think we're probably going to get the Multiverse of Madness we should have gotten. I think I'm
still haven't watched that.
It's
we don't have to go into it.
But I think when they say Beyond the Spider-Verse, I really think that means they're going to be going. We're going to maybe see some X-Men, probably more live action stuff.
Let's see.
Because I mean, what else could Beyond mean? Across means you're going across,
and they
literally
did.
across, and they do. They do. Whereas in Multiverse of Madness, instead of going across the multiverse, they jump through 2 or 3, and then they spend some time in 2 or 3.
Yeah.
This, you go to several different places. You spend time in each place. You spend time in again.
We don't go to that many places.
The places you do go, it's more, and then they're more fleshed out.
They're very fleshed out.
Like
and very
Spider-Man,
nice.
Spider-Man India is in this one.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Incredible.
I loved him.
He's cool, and his whole world is cool. How they represent India in this is so cool.
Exactly. And then, dude, I was hyped about this because I knew he was going to be in it, but I forgot one of my favorite Spider-Man, and there's not a lot about him that I'm aware of. Spider-Punk. He's Spider-Man. He's not called Spider-Punk, but that's what his nickname, people know him as Spider-Punk. Dude. Hobie.
Dude, I want to see his world, but I also don't. Like, I want to see his universe, kind of, but I'm also like, if he looks like this, his universe is going to look like a seizure.
We're going to go to that universe. I guarantee you we're going to that one, and I want to see it.
Was he there at the end when Gwen walks up with all the, like, crew?
I think so.
I just watched it again last night, and I can't remember.
I think he was there.
I know Nick Cage is there.
Yes.
Anime is there. I don't remember if the pig was there.
Spider-Pig, he was there.
He was?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I think everybody was there.
Spider-Ham.
Spider-Ham. Spider-Pig's in
That's Simpsons. Yep.
Yeah.
Which that would have been a great little reference too if they would have had Spider-Pig walking around.
Well, the amount of references in this movie blows my mind.
It's easily like... Whereas in the Mario movie... See, here's the thing. The Mario movie, it got crapped on for having too many references that if you didn't know, then you'd be annoyed. This movie did the exact same thing, yet it's being hyper praised.
I actually disagree with you because I think that in Mario, they we even talked about this. Mario's story is not good. It's not bad, but it's not anything
It's just basic.
amazing.
It's very basic.
The fun of that movie is the references. But this movie, you don't have to know any of these references to just be like, this is a good story.
Okay.
The story is great without knowing anything.
Okay, I can agree with that.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Like 100%.
You see where I'm coming from, though, right?
I mean, I get it.
Where I was coming from.
Yeah, I get it. I just think the difference here is the quality of the story.
Fair enough.
Like, to enjoy Mario movie on that level, you need to understand the references. To enjoy this, you don't.
Oh, let's talk about real quick how they did the Spider-Man pointing meme right this time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like with No Way Home, you could tell they were wanting to do it.
Yeah.
But they were also like, and even in that when they did that photo shoot where they're all pointing at each other, they all, if you can tell on their faces that none of them know what they're doing.
Well, and I think it's kind of cringe in live action. I don't know why, but I think because it's originally animated, seeing that meme animated made it better for me somehow. I shouldn't say cringe. It just wasn't the same.
The only reason it was cringe in the movie is because they didn't do it right.
Yeah.
They'd have done it correctly, and they could have, but they didn't because they were like, oh.
So, No Way Home was my favorite Spider-Man movie. It's not anymore. This is my favorite Spider-Man movie now. And I actually rewatched No Way Home again after watching this. I had to compare. Because we've got two movies where multiple Spider-Men are coming together. And I'm like...
Did you catch the reference to No Way Home?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Doctor Strange and his little nerd.
There's two references. In
What's
No Way
the
Home.
other one?
Well, I guess the other one's not really necessarily No Way Home, but just having Childish Gambino in there.
Yes, dude. Me and my wife were freaking out, and I was like, oh my God, he's right there.
Yeah, and that ties it all into freaking MCU, which is... What does that mean? Is that going to mean anything? I don't know.
We had to have him in that movie. He had to be in it because without him, there would be no Miles Morales. Without I don't know if everybody knows this.
Yeah.
It's a pretty common fact, but if you don't know this, if it weren't for Donald Glover, Childish Gambino, you would not have this movie. And the only reason, do you know how it started?
It was on Community, right?
Yep, he wore some Spider-Man pajamas, and then everyone was like, why can't there be a black Spider-Man? And then everyone was like, well, we're not going to make him Peter Parker, but we'll make a black Spider-Man. And then not only that, they created Miles Morales, who is awesome in his own character, and they had him voice him in one of the cartoons.
Really? I didn't know that.
The Ultimate Spider-Man cartoon, he's the voice of him.
That's cool.
So you had to have Gambino in this. Like, there's not a universe where he shouldn't and couldn't have been in this.
Yeah. And it ties it all together because he still plays what's the villain's name? No, I'm forgetting.
Prowler.
He still plays Prowler, which is canonically who he would be in the MCU.
Because he even says in the MCU at one point, I have a nephew in this neighborhood, and I don't want him to get hurt. And that's Miles Morales. Miles exists in the MCU.
Yep. Somewhere. If we'll ever see him, I don't know. But I just don't know. All the connections were great. And of course, we've got little nods, not just nods. I mean, we see Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield. Tobey in the background and Andrew just right there. So cool. Oh, and Venom.
Oh yeah. Oh, because the Spot goes into the Venom universe at one point.
We got to talk about Spot. What do you think of him?
See, I like him. Do you know the origins or backstory of him at all?
I think I already heard it on a video, but I forgot. So
he literally was a joke character.
Oh yeah.
He literally went the first time Spider-Man fights him. He has trouble in the comics. But then after that, he literally just became a joke character, even though his power is absolutely OP.
Yeah, his power is insane. I was watching it with Drew, and Drew's like, because I thought it was just a joke character, and then Drew's like, oh, this guy could be a big problem. And I'm like, you know what? Yeah, you're right.
I mean, that he has will to literally go anywhere he wants, anytime he wants, and no one should be able to do that. And
can I just say, we finally get to see... I guess I shouldn't say finally, but because I was never wanting it or expecting it, but he went full anti-spiral.
He did go full anti-spiral.
Yeah, at the first time I saw him when he got his full power after he was hit with the collider, I was like, that's the freaking anti-spiral.
I feel like I thought something similar, but I don't remember.
Yeah, I said it to Drew, but I don't remember if Drew even watched Gurren Lagann.
He did.
Okay, cool.
He watched it. Bro. He watched it once. And then he said, I didn't like it because I watched it as I was falling asleep. And then we all talked him into watching it again. And then he was like, dude, that was great. I'm glad I did that.
Okay, cool. Yeah, but I remember what we were first talking about when we first started this convo, getting near the end and looking at my watch and being like, I've been here over 2 hours and this does not feel like it's wrapping up. I feel like we are ramping up. There's too many things happening.
I could have sat there for another 2.5 hours.
Me too, easily. Like, they could have made it all one movie. I would have watched it. But yeah, both times I saw the movie in theaters, the crowd was angry when it said to be continued. Everyone was like, whoa, come on. Like, yeah, sorry, guys.
See, Nate, he didn't know either. And he turned to me and I was like, yeah, I knew that was coming. He was like, okay, good. I'm glad you did because I didn't.
Yeah. Gotta say, Miles Morales in Universe 42... It's crazy, absolutely crazy.
Nate's got a theory. So that universe didn't get a Spider-Man, right?
Right.
What if it didn't get a Spider-Man, but it got a Prowler? And Miles is the hero Prowler. And that's what...
Okay, it's possible.
Like
but
a
Miles,
Batman type.
He definitely seemed pretty bad, though.
But think about Batman and how he is when he finds something. Like, think about that.
But he's failing hardcore then because his whole universe was like on fire.
Well, think of Gotham.
It's possible, but I don't know if I believe it. I think he's definitely a villain.
I am open to the interpretation. I think that's a very cool idea, and I would like it to go that way. I don't think it's going to, but I would like that a lot if they did it. Because I think that would make sense. Like, because again, if you think about it from a Batman perspective, a clone of Bruce Wayne comes in, Batman's going to be pretty crappy, and he's going to be like, who are you? What are you doing here? He's going to seem like a pretty bad guy if you don't know him. But who are you? What are you doing? And what are you doing here? How do you know who I am?
I guess I can't argue with it. They didn't do anything that actually hurt Miles. They just scared him a lot, so it's possible.
And that's a classic Batman tactic.
Yeah.
He'll scare the crap. He wants to scare the crap out of you. He's Batman.
Let's see. Did you know about the twist before it happened? Did you realize that he was not in his universe?
I caught it only because his mom's eyes were a different color. I was like, we're not here. And I was like, his mom's eyes aren't green.
Drew said the same thing to me. Drew was like, his mom's eyes are brown. They're brown. And I was like, bro, what are you talking about? But what I caught, I didn't catch that. I was just confused. I knew something was weird because it was raining. And then in the universe Gwen was in, it was not raining. I'm like, oh, hold on.
Oh, and
that's weird.
That's something we have to talk about is the art styles, but continue.
Oh, yeah. No, I mean, yeah, I did not catch it. I didn't catch it and it shocked me. I mean, I knew something was happening. I was like, something's weird, but I didn't really put it together. Like, this is the spider, the Bidim's universe, not his, which it tells you right on the screen. It says going to universe 42, but you got to pay attention.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because, dang, God, it's good. And a lot of people are making a big deal about how, like, oh, the art like when Gwen starts, having that big like emotional point with her dad, and everything starts melting away and everything. Everyone's like, oh, that's the greatest symbolism I've ever seen. I'm like, it's been done before. It's not new. It was good. It was done incredibly well. Done superb. It's been done before. Don't act like it's new. But
it's still amazing. Like
that's not. I'm not trying to take away from it.
Gwen's universe is my favorite art style in the whole.
Really?
Yeah, I love the watercolor aesthetic.
I don't like watercolor so much.
I do. I think that's probably one of the reasons I like Skyward Sword. Like I love that aesthetic and things. I would love more games and movies in watercolor.
Like Lilo and Stitch.
I've seen Lilo and Stitch.
Well,
when I was a
backgrounds
kid.
are all watercolor.
I forget. I'd have to rewatch it.
You'd like it. So yeah, watercolor's not my thing. My favorite art style was definitely the ones we see. Definitely the Spider-Man India.
Really?
Yes.
I mean, I thought it was awesome, but I don't know. It was cool. It was really
the
cool.
rest of them just kind of seem basic. A little more like Gwen and Miles, like their character designs, they're very similar, so they can work. But then when you go to Gwen's universe, her universe's art style is like you're saying, more watercolored, more flat. Whereas Miles is a bit more 3D, comic looking.
That's the other thing. I'm watching it again. I was trying to look closer. I feel like Universe 42, its art style is different than Miles, but it's very similar.
It's super subtle.
It's similar, but there are subtle differences. There's something about the lines.
The lines are more jagged.
Yeah.
See, the more jagged shapes you make things, that's why with little kid programming and stuff, everything's a round, bouncy shape. You don't see a lot of squares and pointy shapes because that, and whatnot. So when you see more jagged lines, that's a bit more sinister.
For sure. You heard them mention the Sinister Six, right?
No, I don't think I did.
They do. It's in Universe 42. So the Sinister Six is in Universe 42.
That's right. They did. Okay.
Yeah. I can't remember who said it. I think it's on a radio or something. Or no, yeah, it's what's his face, Jameson.
Oh yeah, and it's still Jake.
It's always
John.
Yeah, but he's like the Sinister Six is at it again or something. And
I had that last year when No Way Home came out, and they were. Why am I blanking on his name? J.K. Simmons. Last year when No Way Home came out, I put out a Facebook status. So I'm going to say that they listened to me on this.
It was you.
That I think that needs to be the new Stan Lee cameo.
Oh,
I think that
in every Marvel movie,
not every Marvel
all
movie,
the Spider-Man movies,
but at least in the Spider-Man movies, or maybe Marvel, but not cameo. Just a little background. Him doing his conspiracy theory stuff. Maybe you hear him in the background in every universe. He needs to be, and J.K. Simmons will do voice for anything. Yeah. Like he literally will do just about anything.
So we are getting low on time, unfortunately. But is there anything you didn't like? I don't think there is for me.
I feel like there was a couple subtle things that I'd have to see it again.
I think the beginning's a little slow. Gwen's universe is cool, and then we go to Miles. But it's okay.
I know Gwen's universe is your favorite.
Just the art style, but
I don't know. I felt like there was a bit too much of the whole breaking down the walls with her dad. I feel like there was a bit too much focus on that. I feel like we could have focused on a little, but that's me just nitpicking.
But it was important because
it's important because
she thought her dad was gonna die because he's becoming a captain, and then he agrees. Like they break this down, and he decides to quit the force, so he's gonna live. So it was like a big deal for her.
I'm not saying. I just. They did it twice. They did the same thing twice.
But does that break the canon? Does him deciding not to be a captain break the canon? I wonder.
Probably.
And that's another thing I'm curious about. Do you think breaking the canon is as bad as they say it is?
I don't think so.
Because Miles existing already breaks the canon, but its world hasn't collapsed. I think that's one of the things that because when they explain everything and teach everything to Miles, it feels like, okay, Miles is in the wrong. But then you think about it, and I feel like I can still root for Miles because it's like I feel like the canon's been broken and things are okay.
I don't know if they go by the way it works in What If and Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness. So what happens in What If in Doctor Strange's episode, how he becomes Dark Doctor Strange, is in his universe there is not a single timeline. In that universe, there's not a single timeline where his girlfriend doesn't die.
Oh, okay.
And he spends the entire time figuring out a way to keep her alive, and it comes to the point to where he just can't because the universe is saying she needs to die, and when he does save her, it literally like implodes on itself, or like just like things start fading away until there's nothing left but him because he's the one that caused it, and he has to stay in his own little pocket-sized bubble about the size of this room and be immortal and stuff. So it's. If they go by that logic, it is a big deal.
Well, let's see. Let's see what happens. But I don't know. I felt that there's enough gray area to make it feel like I can still root for Miles instead of saying, I love Miles, but you got to listen to him, man. It's like, okay, I can see both sides here. Like, I feel both sides. I guess let's end with any predictions for the next movie. Anything you think's going to happen or you want to see?
Again, when they say Beyond the Spider-Verse, I really do think that means we're going to see more than just Spider-Man stuff.
I think that's coming from Spot. I bet Spot's going to open up a lot of things. And
now, that doesn't mean I think that all the MCU is going to be coming in. But I wouldn't be shocked if maybe you saw some Tom Holland like actually show up and be a part.
But that's still within the Spider-Verse, though. We got to think outside of it.
I mean, Spider-Verse is MCU.
Are we seeing Darth Vader?
I don't think I think there will probably be like a little Star Wars reference.
I did love that the
Lego scene.
Yeah, was made by that YouTuber.
Yeah, made by a 14-year-old.
Yeah, so cool.
So, and the best part about that is when he's like, "Thanks, you're one of our best."
Yeah.
And you imagine he's probably an actual little Lego guy.
Yeah.
About that big.
It's so cool. But
you're one of our best.
Any predictions on deaths? Because this may be the end. They may really end it here.
I don't think Spider-Man 2099 is going to come out
alive. You think he's dying in this?
I don't know about die, but something's going to happen. I don't think I think at this point, I know you're a fan of a good character death, but I think character deaths are cheap at this point because I think Game of Thrones kind of ruined character deaths.
What does that mean?
Because
characters are going to have to die in every story. You can't ruin character deaths.
Not necessarily, because now everybody thinks, oh, we have to surprise you the way Game of Thrones did, and we're going to kill off the main character? What?
I'm not looking for a surprise. I'm just saying, do you think anyone will not make it out?
I don't think... you know what? I could see Spider-Man Noir not making it out. Or Peter B. Parker.
Peter B. Parker, I think, is a very good guess and very sad.
Because that would make sense, because his daughter is Mayday, and Mayday does have to become Spider-Man. Spider-Woman.
What about Gwen?
Nah.
You don't think so?
No.
Would you be mad?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I don't think I think that's too easy. That's too easy. See, that's what I'm saying.
But this company, this animation studio, these writers, I would be surprised if they take easy routes out. Yeah. I think they've done a very good job in
if they do it in a clever way, I get it. But to me, I just feel like nowadays, again, after Game of Thrones, just immediately, we killed the main character. How crazy are we?
But they didn't immediately do it. That would have been like doing it in episode 1 or the first movie.
I know, but if they did it in the next movie, it's like, oh man.
I just don't agree that like a main character can't die at the end of a series.
I'm not saying they can't. I'm just saying to me that feels like it. To me, it feels cliche at this point because they've done it so much in so many Walking Dead, Sons of Anarchy, Game of Thrones, Arrow.
You think Luffy's dying at the end of One Piece?
Again,
I don't think Oda is looking at Game of Thrones, but
no, that's no. I think he is. I think he's gonna die, but I don't think he's gonna die the way you think.
Yeah, I don't think he's gonna. I don't think I can anticipate how he's gonna die, but I think he's gonna die.
I don't think he's just gonna.
I think Oda's hinted at it because he's done so many things where they tell him you're shortening your lifespan by doing this, and he keeps doing it. I think that's kind of a hint, but I don't know.
I don't think it's gonna be. I don't think they're going to kill him and then continue the show for like 90 more episodes or anything like that.
No. I think he's dying last episode or second to last episode.
I legitimately think it's going to... my theory is he's going to go out similarly, if not the same way
As Roger.
with a smile on his face.
God, I would be cool with that.
That's what's going to happen.
I'd be very
he's
cool
gonna
with
go
that.
and he's going to have a smile on his face.
Brooke's going to be in the crowd. Last one left. All right, we got to wrap it up. Is there anything else you want to say about it?
No, Spider-Verse.
Watch it.
Both of them.
You would think Spider-Verse would be... Oh, no. It's your recommendation. Yeah, go ahead.
You'd think that'd be my recommendation. What have I been watching lately? I don't know. I really haven't been doing a whole lot lately.
I mean, if you want to recommend Spider-Verse,
I'll recommend Spider-Verse this week. I'll cop out this week. I'll give you another one, a good one in a few weeks.
And if you haven't seen the first one, Into the Spider-Verse, you cannot watch the second one without it. I firmly believe that, as I forgot what happened in the first one, and when I watched the second one, I was very confused until I went back and watched the first one again.
Oh, you see the spot in the first one.
Yeah, I know. It's cool.
You hear him, and you hear the bagel incident that he talks about.
You see it. You see him get hit with the bagel.
Yeah.
Yeah, it happens in the first one, in the background.
Mm-hmm.
But
because I even had someone say, look, there he is.
Mm-hmm. All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching.
Stay nerdy, everybody.